Are we seeing some sort of crisis of access to justice at the moment? Because it does seem, with legal aid cuts, with the judicial review reform, with the cuts across the public sector, that it is harder now to get that access to justice than perhaps it was 10, 20, 30 years ago.
I think in the olden days, by which I mean 10, 20, 30 years ago, we tended to equate access to justice with access to lawyers. Now, they don't mean exactly the same thing. It is possible to have access to justice without necessarily having a lawyer. Tribunals have been offering a good service to benefit claimants and many other categories of people without their necessarily having lawyers or any sort of representation. So they're not necessarily the same thing. But on the other hand, as I was explaining earlier, it's much harder for the court if people aren't properly represented, because then the court has to do things that the court otherwise would not have to do. Obviously, I spent most of my professional life where things were expanding and improving, we thought. There were more and more remedies available for injustice, things like discrimination, employment problems, problems with landlord and tenant and so on. Many more remedies, many more ways of getting those remedies, legal aid being available to many more people for many types of legal help as well. All of that seemed to be improving, and access to the legal profession improving. And then the remedies are still there, but the access to them is becoming harder. And obviously access to legal help when needed is becoming very hard in certain areas.